Hello, this is a grumpy old guy gaming, more so than I was about 3 minutes ago, but the phone won't stop. Now that I've got that out of my system, welcome back to another part of the run from this past Tuesday, recording audio now on a Friday, because this week has certainly got away from me. As you could see, the environment has changed a little, as have our cast of characters. Scooty Puff Sr., being played by Emuz, has remained the anchor in the party, joined now by a different Wave Master played by me. This is Wee T, and we're joined by Daisu from the Netslum Discord, playing Daisushi, their heavy axe. So a nice balanced party here. Got a couple of real heavy hitters in the frontliners, Scooty Puff Sr. and Daisushi. And you got Wee T there for control and some pretty potent magic damage, I would say, at this point. Approaching level 40. Going to pare this run down quite a bit. And this is not going to be everything I was hoping it was going to be, but I'm sort of running low on time here, and I want to get everything of a decent quality. As you can see, we've got some king snakeoids to deal with here. We've got some goblins running around. And by that confusion earlier, I'm going to say there are some killer boxes in this area as well. Got a red hot lava fire field. You can see everybody just kind of hanging out here, trying to get on the same page. Saw a goblin wizard hanging out just past the symbol, and yep, there are killer boxes. Here is a trio of them. Kind of tough to tell exactly how many, because you sort of get that hazy double image when they're in the, sort of middle background area. See the silent bomber summons there, and that's actually a fourth running in wild. Got Scooty Puff and Daisushi trying to hang in and get some frontline damage. Of course, killer box is one of the lower level mimic enemies. Higher level variants will have physical tolerance, but here you just kind of want to squash the box down. Always weird to see a killer box turn into a regular treasure chest, by the way. You just have to wonder if it just sort of taken a break. Grunt mints is our grunty food of the field here. Got a couple more killer boxes coming up here. Gonna throw another silent bomber at them. More than enough damage to deal with them. I'm going to say this was a relatively lower field level. Tell you here once we get some experience showing up on the old charts. A little bit of confusion for Scooty Puff Sr. I mean, it's fairly high level, about on par with Wee Teeth, so I can't really remember. It's been a few days, and it's been a few very busy days over here. But I want to say this was somewhere in the mid to upper 30s. Continuing on here, we've got about a handful of portals left, and of course some wandering monsters. Here's a king snakeoid that gets charmed rather easily. Got a second one rattling off some punches against Scooty Puff as Wee T runs around. See Daisushi finishing off the first snakeoid and then coming in for some real big hits back and forth between Daisu and Scooty Puff on the second snakeoid. That makes that battle pretty much academic by the end of it. Buffs running fairly even here. Regime has either not been applied or has worn off. Still got Rig Same. App Core for some physical attack up, helping the frontliners. And of course App Do the speed boost. Working our way towards the dungeon now. Still got a few portals left. I am going to let you know that we're going to be cutting out those first rooms of each dungeon here in the first run. Mainly because if you've seen somebody cast buff spells once, you've seen them do it 1,000 times, basically. And that was a good way to get a couple minutes of fat off of this run, if you will. Sort of lean things up a bit, get things a bit more streamlined. May appear a little disjointed. I hope not. I hope this is a fairly smooth transition. But trying something a little new here. For the sake of brevity, it's a hot-ass day. I'm not going to lie. It's like 90-some degrees outside, and it feels every bit of that in here because I got to have the fan off and stuff. If you're hearing a little bit of a whir in the background, that's actually a fan over in my wife's little area in the next room. So I'm roasting to death, as is that snakeoid that gets chopped down onto a bed of molten rock. Get another snakeoid wandering in, cutting the party off from some risky treasure. And you can see I went for an attack there with WT and just nothing doing. Target was already down by the time I hit the buttons. One more portal to go before the dungeon. Make our way around some sprigs of grunt mint. And, yeah, Silent Bomber's going to take care of a good bit of that. Still got a wizard in the background there. Casts a bit of a ROM spell. You can see another snakeoid wandering in. Going to give WT a bit of the business. Scooty Puff inadvertently goes down in the frontline combat. Maybe a confusion-related incident is that Killer Box wreaking havoc on Daisushi, but all things do even out after a little bit of chaos. And even with confused Scooty Puff, the party manages to find their way to an advantageous position. Big old Annie Cruz spell, I want to say at level 2, Mayani Cruz, taking out the Killer Box from a distance. And now not much to do but make our way to these glowing yellow sort of fonts of energy and into the dungeon proper. Whew. Almost out of breath saying that much. Gonna go for a quicker transition here. Like I said, we cut out that first room, moving right to the action, and first portal isn't much action, it's just a treasure chest. Not too much to check out. Treasure is acquired, and the party moves forward into this long 90-degree bend. Portal opens to show us a King Snakeoid and I believe a Mummy Ripper. Or is that Mummy Scissors? I'm not 100% sure. Mummy Scissors, that's the one. Wood tolerant. I believe it might have critical hit, but it is not one of the higher level mummies that have death touch. So that much is a blessing in disguise. That said, they still hit rather heavy and rather swiftly. Very fast moving enemy for high damage output. Something you have to be wary about. They're sort of sub-level 30. Scooty Puff Sr. at this point, I believe, is between level 8 and 9. I want to say there were about 4 or 5 levels gained by Scooty Puff Sr. this evening. Charmed Snakeoid in the next portal. Looks like we got a couple mummies there, sort of flanking the front line. And a Voodoo Goblin. That's the exact strength, and it didn't last long against Mayani Cruz. One more portal beneath us, and that'll be it for floor number 1 here. See a little bit of desync happening where the characters are sort of caught running in place for little bits of time. All sorts of spells flying at the start of that battle, and you see some good old-fashioned melee combat there in the background from my vantage point, where Scooty Puff and Daisushi absolutely murked that last monster before collecting the loot and moving forward here in the first level. That will just about do it as we work our way towards the stairs, skipping that little treasure room off to the left and making our way down to floor number 2. Blink and you miss it. We're already back to the action. The main attraction, Mummy Scissors, is down and the second one is charmed. Couple misses there. The mummy's showing off a little agility even in the charmed state. Maybe you've even dodged its own attack, which kind of flies in the face of that agile remark from earlier, but hey, a dodge is a dodge. We'll take it. Next portal's going to open to give us a Voodoo Goblin to go with a pair of more mummies. One takes aim at WT and fortunately for me misses. And now that lets the rest of the gang sort of hone in, and the mummies, once charmed, are next to no threat. Just a matter of when we finish them off. You can see the stairs down just beneath us, so it's time to sort of reverse course. Maybe head the other way? Nope. we go on further. There I mistakenly say congratulations to... Actually, no, I do believe Daisu got the level there. I could be wrong there, but I do believe that was Daisushi's level to gain. And there's Scooty Puff with a level, so everybody leveling here inside this dungeon. I believe Wee T did at some point that evening as well. I want to say I got a little closer to the 300 SP mark, which I've been chasing somewhat comically. Remembering how long it took Dionysius to get there, the fact that Wee T has done it in literally half the time. Sort of ran some loose math and realized that this character is on projection for 600 SP at max level, or thereabouts. It'll be awfully close. I didn't do the exact calculations, just sort of a rough estimate. Here, a little bit of background buffing going on here as the second floor a little more disjointed, and it didn't exactly help that we took the wrong branch right away. I'm going to put that one on me, as typically when I go with my gut, it leads to a quick exit and not a full clear. See speed buffs wearing off. Gonna have to reapply those before we go too much further. Not really mandatory, but once you get used to them, sort of feel lacking without it. Last thing you want to do is feel lacking. More mummy shenanigans to be had here, and a big burst attack in the middle. See a pair of statuses there, as I do believe Scooty Puff hit with a Moomin Light to put one mummy to sleep while Wee T charmed a second. Daisushi just swinging that giant axe away. So comical to see a tiny character just effortlessly swinging an axe whose blade is probably the same size as the wielder, let alone the handle. You've got a tiny character with a giant axe, and you've got a heavy blade that is itself giant and looks like it's just sort of carrying a novelty sword. Speaking of giant, here is a sandhill, big giant pile of becharmed sand, if you will, as it takes to the charm right away. Makes things a little difficult for it. And you can just see spirit drain after spirit drain going off in that battle. Somebody must have recovered a lot of SP over the course of that. I want to say that was about 3 or 4 there in the first half of that. Before things finally came to a head, the charm wore off, and it became readily apparent that it was in the party's best interest to finish that right quick and in a hurry. Moving through the second floor here, still got a couple more portals. Sort of a crooked juncture room. 2 of those W rooms smashed together, I guess would be the easiest way to describe it. Turns into sort of an upside down Y. Get a couple of mummies incapacitated, allowing the front line to head up in as much relative safety as we could offer and finish them off. Should have probably thrown a quick heal in while everyone was together. Was not thinking about it at that time. You could see the vaunted 10 days from retirement message being given by Scooty Puff Sr., and now we are getting ready to move into this upper dead-end room. See a trio of Voodoo Goblins just casting away at the poor frontline combatants. Daisushi and Scooty Puff get caught in a torrent of fire and respond with a bit of intense fire themselves. Flame of combat burning bright for the heavy axe and heavy blade, and a little bit of healing magic to get them topped back off and ready to head back into the fray once we make our way down through to the next dead-end room. As you can see, it's sitting there on the far right of the mini-map, with a treasure chest being displayed in addition to a portal at the top of that little arch. Again, apologies if we are racing the commentary here. Mummy Scissors and Voodoo Goblin. Nothing terribly difficult to deal with, especially not after both enemies are charmed and within range of some really heavy-hitting melee weapons. Battle is done. Yet another Olarep to top things off, treasure chest is acquired, and with that, we'll be making our way back towards the exit. So I believe that clears off all of the things on this upper branch. Making our way back through the bend. That sort of smashed together W's room. And now back through the square room. We have that sideways T to go, and then the bending room. And God, it's tough to not describe rooms using the word bend. Did not realize it for the longest time, but that really is sort of the MO of the rooms here. They're either squares or they're bends. Accidentally go the wrong way here. Turns out you don't want to go upstairs in these dungeons. That's really counterproductive when trying to clear them. Every now and then you get a little turned around, and happens to me more often than most. But we do eventually head the right direction. Making our way down to the final portal of the second floor. Sort of a nice little staged area in this room where it widens out, and all for naught, as it's a little bit of risky business and nothing more than that. I'm going to group up together in the following room, just a small corridor with the stairs leading down. And then we'll be ready for our third and final floor of this particular adventure. Floor number 3 indeed coming up. We're going to cut straight to the action with another sandhill that is once again not going to be too much of a challenge, thanks to an early charm and some big damage hits. See criticals firing off from Scooty Puff, some pretty hard strikes from Daisushi, and even Wee T getting in with a few Mayani cruises there. So damage abounding, and you can see 15 experience there for that kill for Wee T. Definitely worth it to get in on that. And now you see everybody's least favorite thing, the statue Menhir, those low-level bouncing buddies that are sort of stone signs of long-term battles. See some resurrection shenanigans already afoot, and these being the statue Menhir also have a little bit of a lightning spell. Fortunately, they are very susceptible to darkness spells, and that is right in Wee T's wheelhouse. Can't be charmed, can they, either, so no chance of using status effects to your advantage there. Just a chest in front of a chest in this particular dead end. Party's not going to spend too much time here before moving on. Got another dead end beneath us from the previous room, and we'll be checking that out before hitting the final portal and then the statue treasure. Big old variety pack here as we get, I think, 1 or 2 mummy scissors. Yes, 2 mummy scissors and a statue Menhir. Scooty Puff Sr. goes down, looks like to a lightning spell. So it's time to take out that Menhir, and with the resurrection shenanigans gone, the mummy don't have much chance of survival. Even more experience to go around the horn there. Now it's time for just the tiniest bit of backtracking, literally 2 empty rooms, and we're cutting off a wing on each of them. So it may as well be one glorified large room worth of backtracking before we get to our final portal. This one's got more mummies and another Menhir, this time a trio of the mummies, and you saw a big old death strike there, so I may have been off on the mummy scissors not having it. As you saw the big dying appear there in giant red letters, seeing critical hits flying, all sorts of damage going about, both friend and foe. Nobody is immune, including Daisushi, who unfortunately goes down at the exact same time as the statue Menhir. Silent Bomber, a fantastic spell, but a time-consuming one. See Owl, a very apt statement there. A little bit of Meganrom out of Scooty Puff Senior. Very smart call there, as the mummy scissors are wood element, and everybody converges to finish off the final one as a unit. Nothing to do here but head to the statue room and pick up the treasure. Question is, with only one chest, who's going to claim the prize? Actually gets to be a point of minor confusion here as we get the dreaded courtesy off here between the pre-generated chats. Eventually, I forget who takes the prize. I'm not going to lie, it's been a few days and I don't watch these things back before I start recording. Maybe Daisushi, maybe Scooty Puff. It's not WT. I'ma stay right here. It does look like Daisushi is going to bravely venture forth and take the treasure. A very well-earned treasure and a fantastic run. Now we're going to head to the second part of today's video. Again, we're going to be doing things a little different here, so hang tight. And we are in Jalapenos Fatty the Bracelet. One of the dreaded things, one of probably the scariest things you could do, is let me pick a field because I'm going to push levels a bit. Here we are. I do believe Daisushi is level 40 at this point, and I am closing in on either 39 or 40 with WT, and this is a level 52 area. Emuz had to bow out with Scooty Puff Senior, and as I'm running woefully low on time now, we are going to do a to be continued here. But let's go ahead and get in what we can. Got plenty of portals here in the field on this rainy grassland evening field. Getting 3 Maxwells to start, and good to know that Maxwells can be charmed. Bad to know that Maxwells hit hard. WT just hanging in there. You can see Daisushi definitely doing the brunt of the frontline work. Gonna throw a heal over. A little bit of physical accuracy down as well. I should have probably thrown an antidote there, just wasn't thinking of it in the moment. Also have no idea, Earthly, why I am taking point here. Really bad tactical thinking by yours truly. We get some Earth Maidens thrown in the mix, part of that maiden line that I just, quite frankly, am never happy to see, along with a Miasma Wyvern. Fantastic enemy, really evasive to physical damage, but tissue paper against magic, so I just sort of went in with WT and did my level best to just get it gone. Earth Maiden goes down with a little bit of tandem attack power there, solid 13 experience. Do apologize for that brief stutter. Yeah, we're about even leveled here, which is a fantastic thing. Running with someone even in level with you, and this is a challenge field for certain. The kind of thing that normally you wouldn't want to take on without a third in the party of at least equal, perhaps slightly greater level, just sort of as an insurance policy. Kind of feeling it Tuesday though. Feeling all kind of good. Big old damage out of Mayani Cruz. See the Earth Maiden trying to sneak by there, and not too fast to be taken to the charms of WT. And then Maxwell's axe fells the Wave Master rather quickly. Get a little bit of time in ghost mode there before Daisushi nice enough to bring me back. And I will return said kindness by charming the Earth Maiden again, giving a chance for more damage to be dealt here. And then throwing some Mayani Cruz to finish things off. Other damage spell aside from Silent Bomber is, I believe, Organzot, so not much help against the Earth Maidens. As you can see, this is really the only variety of those snake-haired Medusa-type maidens that doesn't have the sleep status, but it does have Deck Do, the speed down. So WT got good and slow in that little encounter. You could still see the perimeter of the map just dotted with portals, and we're going to make our way left towards more of them. Also have a Spring of Mist that's going to play a rather fun role in this part of the adventure. Got more Maxwell to deal with. Fantastic thunder-based attack. Just nukes that Maxwell. Daisushi definitely playing a competent and then some heavy axe. Getting all kinds of experience gains there. Still got 6 portals from the looks of it. Yep, 6 is the number. I always do that. I speak too quick and then recount. Got a Maiden and a Maxwell here. And there you go. I threw the Organ Zod out foolishly, and you got the zeros and the little metallic chime of resistant damage. Here comes another Maxwell, this time accompanied by a Wyvern that makes a beeline for Daisushi. Daisushi gets a good hit in for 210 and then a 25-12 to finish off by Wee T. Just big damage and big experience to be had here. Next portal's going to give us a Maxwell and Earth Maiden combo. Daisushi not taking kindly to that Maxwell and making sure it doesn't stick around long. Also a Miasma Wyvern. Not sure if that was part of the original portal or if it snuck in while I was rotating the camera. But either way, quickly dealt with. See a little bit of teamwork going on here. Daisushi not able to land the last blow, but able to corner that Earth Maiden to a point where Wee T is. Time to let the SP sort of regenerate a little bit with 3 portals left. 3 portals. I missed that one by the spring this time. Knew it was there the whole time, and yet when I looked at the mini-map, I'm only seeing the dots in plain sight with no obstructions around. Definitely have some Wandering Maiden and Maxwells coming in from the side here, and Maxwell once again just clipping the life out of Wee T. Daisushi in a jam down below 200 health as the Resurrect comes off. Fantastic timing on the res. And now with a couple Mage's Souls popped, Wee T ready to rejoin the action as things got nice and chaotic here in the field. Got all sorts of Maidens and Maxwells, had a pretty full portal and some Wandering Monsters. A recipe for disaster if you're not careful or lucky. See Wee T back in critical range, able to get off the Silent Bomber and just has enough time to get the hit points back up. Gonna go for another Silent Bomber here, and it sadly misses, so it's time to stop going big or going home. As you can see, a third Silent Bomber didn't quite do the job. Now it's time to just stay with old reliable Mayani Cruz. By the time that Earth Maiden's done, Daisushi more than capably fells the other. Now it may be time for a little bit of healing. I would say some heals have been earned. Pair of portals left off to the right there. Left off to the right. That was terrible. Passing a giant sort of stone structure there. Maybe a headstone, maybe part of a windmill. I didn't really see the foreground, so. Grassland fields have such unique architecture to them. Of course, this being one of the iconic field types, if you've ever played Infection, this is the same field type that you would see in Bursting Past over Aquafield, just a different weather pattern behind it. Miasma Wyvern and Maxwell and Earth Maiden here, so we got another 3 enemy sampler platter. Daisushi taking care of the Maxwell. Of course, Wee T steering well clear of that axe blade. Missing the first attempt on the Wyvern, so that took a bit to get down, but we are in fact down to just the Earth Maiden. And when it's 2-on-1, you gotta feel the heroes have the advantage. Bit of a chase scene ensues, but eventually the Maiden does go down. Time to be working our way up towards that Spring of Mist. Got a portal right next to it, and I do believe that's the final portal for this field. Got 2 Maxwells and an Earth Maiden, and yeah, there's our all clear, so everything should be safe. Quick Charm finally puts the Maxwell's Lethal Axe on the back of the Earth Maiden, making things very easy for us. But even as we think we're done, a Wyvern pops in, and Daisushi very smartly data drains the Earth Maiden down to a Flamer, and then hits for quad 9s. Just insane damage. Now we're right next to the spring, and it seems safe enough because we've gone through a portal and a wandering monster. So I'll head over with Weetie and decide to toss in a hunting guard to see what I get, and just as we get the little pop-up for the interaction to start, you see the Wyvern flying in, and Daisuchi's going to have to battle this poor Wyvern solo. In the background, as we try and speed through the Mashir encounter, you could see the Silent Bomber staff gets absolutely turned pink. That's the sign of poison for sure. Both characters get poisoned. Weetie finally free of Mashir. Gets to drop the stuck summons before the battle is finally finished. Now, I did say we're going to have a to be continued. This is sadly where I am out of time, and we will have to call this particular upload. Be on the lookout, though, as the dungeon clear was so fun, it just may make it into a upcoming video. In the meantime, this has been a Grumpy Old Guy Gaming saying take care, and see you around.